Know the top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Hi, this is MB Now, and here are your news on web. Metro Manila mayors have recommended a 2-week flexible, modified, enhanced community quarantine, or MECQ, for the National Capital Region starting May 1. Metro Manila Development Authority Chairman Ben Harabalos said that under the flexible MECQ, more businesses will be allowed to open, but strict health and safety protocols such as border controls will still be in place. Abalos said the MECQ with additional business openings were recommended by the Department of Health and the government's economic team, the National Economic and Development Authority, and the Department of Trade and Industry. One of the big changes under the flexible MECQ will be the curfew hours, according to Abalos. Under the new setup, the curfew will be adjusted to 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. As for the businesses that will be allowed to open, Abalos said the DTI will be releasing the list, but mentioned that construction will be a part of it. The Philippines will be temporarily closing its borders to travelers from India to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 disease. Presidential spokesman Harry Roque announced the restrictions on travelers from India will be implemented from April 29 to May 14, 2021. According to Roque, the 2-week tighter border control covering travelers, including Filipinos, coming from India was approved by President Duterte upon the recommendation of the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases. Roque said passengers already in transit from India and those who are arriving before Thursday, April 29, will be required to undergo stricter quarantine and testing protocols. These travelers must observe an absolute 14-day quarantine at a facility despite getting a negative test result for the coronavirus. He also said the Office of the President may also impose restrictions on travelers from other countries that report the new coronavirus strain upon the joint recommendation of the Department of Health and the Department of Foreign Affairs. India continued to grapple with a record-breaking coronavirus outbreak following the detection of a double mutant strain of the coronavirus. The surge in coronavirus cases has reportedly threatened to cripple the healthcare system in India. The delivery of the initial batch of COVID-19 vaccine Sputnik V, procured by the government from Russia, was delayed due to logistical challenges, Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. confirmed on Wednesday, April 28. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque made a similar confirmation, citing challenges which resulted from the lack of direct flights from Russia, and he also mentioned issues on the storage of the vaccines that require below 0 degree Celsius temperature during the duration of the flights. The NTF released an advisory on Tuesday night which stated that the vaccines manufactured by the Gamaleya Research Institute of Russia will arrive via Qatar Airways from Doha to Manila at around 10:45 p.m. on Wednesday. The vaccines require storage with a temperature of negative 18 degrees Celsius and below. Nonetheless, Galvez said the NTF will give an update when the vaccines will be delivered as soon as they receive an advice from the Russian Direct Foreign Investment Fund. The country was supposed to receive 500,000 doses of Sputnik V vaccines that it bought from Russia for the month of April. An initial 15,000 doses was initially set for delivery on April 22, but it had been moved to April 28, which again was postponed to a later date. 28% of non-Muslims, composed of Catholics, Iglesia ni Cristo, and other Christians, said they pray several times a day, while 39% said they pray once a day, according to the latest survey conducted by the social weather stations. Meanwhile, 17% said they pray weekly, 9% said they pray monthly, and 3% said they pray occasionally. The results of the survey were released on Tuesday, April 27, but the poll was conducted on November 21 to 25, 2020, among 1,500 respondents consisting of 83% Catholics, 5% Muslims, 2% Iglesia ni Cristo, and 10% other Christians. The November 2020 survey also found 38% of Filipino adults rating themselves as very religious, 50% moderately religious, 10% slightly religious, and 2% not religious at all. By religion, the percentage of those who consider themselves as very religious is highest among Iglesia ni Cristo with 56%, followed by other Christians with 46%, Muslims with 44%, and Catholics with 36%. In Metro News, residents trade in trash for food packs in Mandaluyong. 1.5 million pesos worth of smuggled pork products seized in Tondo. More from this report.
Barangay Addition Hills in Mandaluyong City launched on Tuesday the Palit Basura para sa Pagkain sa Mesa program, which allows residents to exchange the recyclable trash for groceries. Spearheaded by Barangay Captain Carlito Cernal and Mandaluyong City Mayor Menchi Abalos, the project was unveiled inside the Andres Bonifacio Integrated School Gymnasium. It aims to provide its residents with food packs in exchange for recyclable materials such as plastic bags, plastic bottles, and other plastic wastes. The collected trash will then be converted into chairs, tables, and eco bikes. Residents can trade in a minimum of 5 kilos or maximum of 10 kilos of trash per person. They will be given a stub that they can convert into groceries such as rice, vegetables, and noodle packs. The local government reminded residents to follow the minimum health protocols such as wearing of face masks, face shields, and observing the social distancing rule. Hundreds of boxes of smuggled pork products worth 1.5 million pesos were seized in a warehouse in Tondo, Manila by the Veterinary Inspection Board on Tuesday, April 27. A total of 302 boxes of imported pork belly from Germany were seized from the residence of a certain Jonabel Jalimao Factor along Jose Abad Santos Avenue at around 10 a.m. according to VIP Director Nick Santos. Santos said Factor has a cold storage inside his house where the 6,040 kilos of smuggled products were located. Bureau of Meats Director Levi Facundo also said that Factor's business Gorenhan Food Products has no record in the city of Manila. They are now coordinating for proper action with regard to the incident.
Here are the top news in other parts of the country. 2 anti-communist group members killed in an ambush. 6 churches in Cagayan de Oro closed for disinfection. And 19 more PDLs released from Davao Prison Farm. Here are the details.
2 members of an anti-communist group were killed in an ambush in Batuan Town, Bohol last Monday, April 26. Authorities said that the ambush was carried out by at least 20 armed men allegedly belonging to the New People's Army or NPA. The fatalities were identified as Rolando Pornes and Jaime Cagatin. The victims came from an anti-communist campaign and were heading home aboard their motorcycles when they were waylaid in Barangay Aloha past 5 p.m. 6 parish churches in the Archdiocese of Cagayan de Oro have been closed after its priests tested positive for coronavirus. These parish churches are Jesus Nazareno in San Isidro in Cagayan de Oro City and Our Lady of Candelaria in Tagaloan, Immaculada Concepcion in Hasaan, Our Lady of Mount Carmel in Bobontugan, and Santa Cruz in Laguindingan, all in Misamis Oriental Province. In a motu proprio letter dated April 27, Archbishop Jose Cabantan said the parish churches will undergo disinfection. The closure will be in effect for 10 days from April 28 until May 7. 19 more persons deprived of liberties or PDLs, including 8 who had been acquitted of their criminal charges, have been released since April 7 from the Davao Prison and Penal Farm or DPPF in Davao del Norte. 10 of those released had served their jail terms, while one was a returnee who had earlier been freed based on good conduct and time allowance but had been ordered to return to jail. The release of the PDLs was properly facilitated and they were subjected to COVID-19 tests to ensure that they are COVID-free when they return to their families. They also received gratuity and transportation allowances from the Bureau.
In world news, U.S. says vaccinated people can go mask-free outdoors most of the time. Pandemic aid begins to arrive in COVID-stricken India. And Australia bans passenger flights from India until May 15. Let's watch this report.
Americans vaccinated against COVID-19 no longer need to mask up outdoors when there's no crowd, President Joe Biden announced Tuesday at the White House. Biden told the nation in televised remarks a stunning progress has been made in getting vaccines administered and the stringent mask recommendation can now be relaxed. He was speaking shortly after the Center for Disease Control, the top government health agency, notified fully vaccinated Americans that they can go mask-free most of the time outdoors. According to CDC, masks are still considered necessary for vaccinated people if they are at the concerts, parades, or large sporting events, even when outdoors. Indoors activities also remained under a mask recommendations. This includes movie theaters and even uncrowded indoor shopping centers and museums. Biden said the change signified a shift in the way people can enjoy life as the summer approaches. The first emergency medical supplies arrived in India on Tuesday as part of global campaign to staunch catastrophic wave in the latest pandemic hotspot, with the United States also pledging to export millions of AstraZeneca vaccine doses. Crates of ventilators and oxygen concentrators from Britain were unloaded at a Delhi airport early Tuesday. The first emergency medical supplies to arrive in the country where infections and death rates are going exponentially. Despite India's status as the pharmacy of the world, the biggest producer of generic drug has been unable to meet the demand for antiviral medications such as remdesivir. Many doctors say remdesivir is not essential for the treatment of COVID-19, but hospitals have been prescribing it anyway. Australia on Tuesday announced a temporary ban on direct passenger flights from India as the South Asian nation grapples with a massive surge in COVID-19 infections. Prime Minister Scott Morrison said the suspension would remain in place until at least May 15 due to clearly present risks of travel from India, leaving thousands of Australians, including high-profile cricketers, stranded. It follows similar moves by the countries including Canada, the United Arab Emirates, and Britain to halt or restrict flights in response to spiraling COVID crisis. Morrison also said Australia would send medical aid, including oxygen tanks, ventilators, and personal protective equipment to India as its health system strains under the growing caseload.
In entertainment, Big Hit Music has announced that K-pop superstars BTS will be coming back with the release of a digital single next month. BTS's new song Butter will be out at 1 p.m. Korea Standard Time or noon in the Philippines on May 21 on Korean and international music sites. Butter will be BTS's second English song after the hit track Dynamite, which was released on August 21 last year. The physical version of Butter will be released in Korea and around the world later this year. On BTS's official YouTube channel, Bangtan TV, the Butter logo trailer, which runs for 1 hour and 27 seconds, has garnered 12.15 million views since its release on April 26. Dozens of Britney Spears fans are demonstrating outside a Los Angeles courthouse where a hearing was scheduled in the Britney Spears conservatorship case, which in 2008 led a California court to place her under a unique legal guardianship largely governed by her father. The U.S. pop star's attorney asked the judge to let Spears speak directly to the court, which fan Leanne Simmons thinks is big news, something we have been waiting for a while. The 39-year-old singer will speak in court on June 23. In sports, a two-time United States champion Wesley So had a costly misstep and absorbed a 3-1 defeat in the first of their two-set quarterfinal duel with Armenia-born Levon Aronian in the new in chess classic of the Meltwater Champions Chess Tour Wednesday, April 28. So committed a mouse slip that allowed Aronian to turn a drawish position into a victory in the first of the scheduled 4 games for the day, unnerving the Cavite-born Grandmaster and taking the early 1-0 lead. The 38-year-old Aronian later admitted he got lucky. So will have a chance to bounce back and snatch their second and final match to force a deciding blitz playoff. In today's Tech Talk, our Manila Bulletin Tech News editor Art Samaniego talks about the malicious post that made the rounds on Facebook last week. Very interesting. Let's watch this.
Facebook is once again in the middle of a security issue. This time, malicious posts tag thousands of users that leads them to a post with a link to what promised to be an adult site. But it could actually gain control of your Facebook account, send messages, and more. Today we'll discuss how such malware works and what to do if you fell victim to it. Hi, I'm Art Samaniego, and welcome to Tech Talk. Malicious tagging, by the name itself, will tag you in a post either from a Facebook friend or from someone you totally didn't know even existed. The post contains a link that once clicked, you will be redirected to a page that prompts you to update your Flash player to be able to view the video. But instead of updating your Flash player, which by the way is no longer supported by Adobe, the malware will then be installed on your device. The malware would then scan your system for sensitive information that could be used to access your financial accounts. It will also take over your Facebook account by posting a video with a link tagging people in your friends list to further spread the malware and victimize even more people. If you are using a mobile device, once you click, you will be redirected to a phishing site that would ask you to log into your Facebook account. Don't, as the scammers will get your credentials and would steal your account. Now, if you fell victim of this malicious post, here is what you need to do. Immediately notify the friend who tagged you and tell him or her to run the latest antivirus software on his device. It is also best to run an antivirus software in your device just to make sure that the malware will not further penetrate your system. It is also wise to immediately change the password and activate the two-factor authentication of your Facebook account. While this malware is doing its round on Facebook, other platforms could also share the same malware. This could also include your email, so be very careful. Make sure to also secure your privacy settings by changing to only me who can see posts that you are tagged into. If you set it to everyone, other people could see if you are tagged by the scammers. Also, make sure that you review tags to your posts before the tags appear on your Facebook wall. You may do so by activating the review posts you are tagged in before the posts appear on your profile. If you are annoyed with the notifications informing you that you have been tagged by users you don't even know, change it to friends only. All of this could be accessed by going to settings and privacy of your Facebook account. In the end, always remember to think before you click and of course, verify. This way, you will be sure that the link is safe and your account is secure. And that is Tech Talk for this week. Join us again next week for more tech updates. This is Art Samaniego and this is Tech Talk. Be fully informed.
Oh, yes, indeed. And thank you, Art, for sharing these tips on how to secure your Facebook from malware. And those are the news on Web today, April 28, 2021. For more news and more details, get your copy of Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow or log on to www.mb.com.ph. You may also subscribe to our newsletter through the link on this video's caption to have the day's latest news delivered to your inbox. I am Barbie Atienza for Manila Bulletin. Join us again tomorrow. This has been MB Now. Be fully informed.